What up with it? Welcome back to Tech Season, and the iPhone 15 just leaked, and we have a ton of questions that need answers. Is this phone gonna be good? Is this phone gonna be bad, boring? Will this be the last iPhone? And by that I mean, will this be an into an era for Apple? So let's break down the latest leaks and rumors for Apple and the upcoming iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Pro, and also the rumored iPhone 15 Ultra. Some of you are gonna be excited, but I feel like most of you might be a little disappointed. So we're now about 7 months away from the release of the next iPhone. But until then, these phones are going to continue to leak in various different ways. So based off the most recent leaks, I have some good news and some bad news that you need to know. So these new images are CAD files that were obtained by 9to5Mac. Now, the first thing that you probably noticed from these images is that the big redesign that we thought was gonna happen, like a folding iPhone or an iPhone 4 type of design, isn't gonna happen. So Apple likes to do a redesign about every 3 years or so, and Mark Gurman stated that we should expect some sort of big changes to the iPhone for 2023, but it doesn't look like that's gonna happen after all. As you can see here, the design looks pretty similar to the iPhone 14 series with a couple of noticeable changes. But one change that I have been looking forward to that's coming this year is the adoption of USB Type-C. You know, I don't know what took Apple so long to make this change. I appreciate it. Whether Apple's doing it out of the kindness of their own heart or they're being forced to or not, you know, it's much appreciated on my end for sure. Another big change to expect based off of these CAD files is that the iPhone 15 will have smaller bezels than previous iPhones, which is, you know, that's pretty cool. If you look at these two phones, you'll notice that the iPhone 15 on the right has slightly thinner bezels than the older iPhone 14 on the left. Now, whether this is a big deal or not, that's pretty much up to you, honestly. And the biggest change with this new upcoming iPhone is the new curve that they added to the phone. There's a slight curve on the corners now. It's pretty much a hybrid between the iPhone 11 era and the flat size of the iPhone 14 and 13, I believe. Also worth noting is that these CAD files do not confirm but show what appears to be capacitive buttons that will replace the physical buttons for the volume and power. It has been reported for a while now that Apple have planned on getting rid of the physical buttons for more touch sensitive buttons for a while now. Alright, so if you've made it this far in the video, it seems like all of these phones are pretty similar, right? USB Type-C across all iPhone 15 models. We should be getting a new design. The Pro models should have the touch sensitive buttons instead of the physical. That'll either be a pro or a con depending on your personal preference. But what are the other changes that you'll find on the Pro models that you won't find on the regular 15 or the 15 Plus? As of right now, it looks like the iPhone Pro model is going to be more of a moderate upgrade for this year, unless you go with the 15 Pro Max or the 15 Pro Ultra. These models should have a new para zoom system that'll allow you to zoom in and do more with zoom technology with your photos and videos. But aside from that, it looks like all the Pro models and everything are going to share pretty much the same features across the board. You can expect the always-on display, the triple camera setup. We should be seeing those faster USB transfer speed. And according to the folks at 9to5Mac, the new exclusive color for the Pro model is supposed to be this maroon rust kind of burgundy color. You know, I personally think it's cool. You know, I kind of like it. It's definitely better than the purple from last year for sure. But as you can see, there doesn't seem to be a huge difference between the iPhone 15 Pro models and the regular iPhone 15 and the iPhone 15 Plus. I think Apple has learned their lesson from last year by having such a big difference between the Pro models and the regular models, because Apple struggled to sell the iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Plus. According to Consumer Reports, people felt like the upgrades for the iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Plus were boring. The changes were so small and so unnoticeable that Apple had a hard time selling these models. You know, they had such a hard time selling them that Apple is considering canceling the iPhone 15 Plus because the 14 Plus sold so bad. So I guess that's why they ultimately decided to put a lot of the Pro features from the Pro model into the regular 15 and 15 Plus. So that main 48 pixel camera should be coming to the regular 15 and 15 Plus models. And also the dynamic island that people either loved or hate. Yes, that means the notch is finally gone and the island will be the new standard for all iPhones across the board now. And one more thing as far as differences between the Pro models and the rest, it is rumored that only the Pro model will have a 120 refresh rate and the rest will only have 60. So we've also heard that Apple is planning or thinking about introducing a new member to the iPhone family, and that is the iPhone Ultra. This wouldn't be just an upgraded sort of Pro Max. This would be a completely new high-end model, which would make 3 high-end models you could purchase from Apple. So what Apple has noticed is that the regular models and the Plus models may be a hit one year, maybe not a hit the next year, but one thing that's consistent is that the Pro models always sell for them. So I guess that's been enough motivation and, you know, the deciding factor for them to introduce a new member to the family, and that being the iPhone 15 Ultra. The idea from Apple is that if they can't capitalize on the low end, maybe they can do more to capitalize on the high end. There are plenty of people out there who would be all in on a higher end iPhone if maybe it had more features, even if it had a higher price tag to go with it. And now on to the narrative that I've been seeing floating around the internet, which is pretty much, will this be the final version of the iPhone? And that's not to say that Apple never plans on releasing another iPhone after this year, but just like all technology, something always comes along and replaces what we all thought was once the greatest thing imaginable, as it's expected to get sort of a decreased role within Apple, because all eyes and all attention and all of funding is going towards this. Apple has been hard at work towards their new Apple AR, VR, mixed reality headset. Love it, like it, or hate it, Apple seems to be going all in on this new device. And I'm not saying that once this thing releases that Apple is going to start releasing, you know, Nokia style iPhones and just completely abandon it altogether. That's not what I'm saying. But according to multiple very reliable sources from inside of Apple, this headset is going to mark a monumental shift for Apple. And that if everything goes Apple's way and everything falls in the right places and everything goes as planned, this is going to be a new era for Apple and will eventually replace the iPhone. Just as it seems so crazy for the iPod to meet its match, the iPhone did everything the iPod could do and so much more. And that is the idea for the headset. Apple's plan is not for this to be some goofy headset that you just wear, but over time, as the technology matures and evolves, that this thing will be able to do everything that your iPhone can do in a better, more convenient, more immersive way. And I know this whole product seems very niche and, you know, all those sorts of things, and there's no killer app that everyone has to have, and it doesn't really seem like there's a necessity yet. But given enough time and enough brain power and money thrown at it, I'm sure Apple has the vision to turn this into what they really want it to be. Even if you don't see it now, Apple always plans years in advance. They think long game, long term. So if they're putting this many resources and this much money behind a new product, and if they're looking at this as some sort of shift and the beginning of a new era for the company, then trust me, they have a lot more written down, mapped out, and planned way ahead than they've shared with the public. And it's pretty obvious that the iPhone has plateaued in recent years. You know what I mean? They're all good enough. And as time changes and technology improves, the device that we all once loved will eventually be phased out by something better. It's just the way that things go. And about 4 out of the 5 past years, Apple has held a huge event in March or April, and we are slowly creeping on that time, and we could be seeing these things unveiled for the first time in just a couple weeks. So, and that's all I got for y'all today. Another installment of Tech Season. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe for your boy, and until next time, man, peace.